Como estas? Today's game from Tata Masters. We have Abdusattarov noted back winning the only game of that round versus Richard Rapport. So here comes e4, e5, knight c3, the Vienna variation, knight f6, f4, a kind of king's gambit. The Vienna is the king's gambit sideline. And now we have d5, counter attack, fe5, knight into e4, queen f3. Richard Rapport plays this sideline and it's not considered that good for white. But okay, Richard Rapport plays that type of positions. Okay, we have here f5 giving more protection to e4, d3. So knight into c3, bc3. So now white has an idea of playing d4 and get a strong center. But Rapport moves fast and strong. d4, blocking d4. And now bishop e2 develops. Knight c6 attacks the e5, queen g3 protects e5. Now as you can see, the d4 move has inadvertently, unknowingly, here it's knowingly because it's just an opening, isolated this e5 pawn from the rest of its group. So black has a plan, a long-term plan to attack this pawn. And so let's start. Here comes the next move, great move, bishop e6, block that pawn. Before you beat up your opponent, you have to tie him up. That's some proverb, very old proverb, you must know. Here comes c4, blocking the line of the bishop. Bishop b4 check, and now Rapport plays king d1. The main idea is that because of this d4 pawn, black's pieces cannot converge, attack, diverge all pieces to that king. So the king is safe on d1. And here comes queen d7, protecting g7, developing piece, planning a queenside castle. Here comes rook b1. You want a castle queenside? I want to keep my attacking pieces ready. Castle's queenside. Here comes bishop f3. Now you can see all white pieces are attacking the black queenside. So bishop has to move. Threats are coming. So here g7 is given, but a lot of pieces are under attack. So g7 pawn is not being taken. He has to resign. Knight h3. Now comes super move b6, blocking that rook on b1 because the rook on b1 can get dangerous. Here comes the next move, knight f4, attacking e6, threatening to take the double bishop pair and also planning an attack on the d5 square. As you can see, the d5 can become an outpost. And so here comes g5, knight takes e6, queen takes e6. Still an equal position right now. Here comes rook b5. Now the d5 square is going to be a transfer post for white's pieces. So let us see. Knight b8, trying to block up the d5 with c6. Rook d5, exchange a pair of rooks. I don't really like that move, but okay. Richard Rapport has decided to go into the endgame. c6 takes. And as you can see, what we told in the start of the game, that e5 is under heavy pressure. And here comes h3. You cannot capture g5 because rook will come to g8 and pin and start beating the hell out of everybody. And here came knight d7. And here, best move would have been queen f2 and then h6. Rook e1, king c7, solidifying the black position. But this was not played. Queen h2, a dubious move was played. And here h6, same type of position, and here best move would have been rook e1 followed by bishop b4 attacking the rook and an exchange of bishops and a slightly better position for black. But this was not played. A dubious move was played, and that is after h6, g4. Now you can see all the black pieces converge for the attack. Knight into e5, attacking that bishop, takes, capturing the bishop, now piece up. Now we play knight into h2, and now we have rook takes h2. This position is like +2 for black. As you can see, that e6 pawn is very heavily unguarded. H3 pawn is isolated, A2 pawn is isolated. These pawns, you know, in the end game they become very serious weaknesses. And also you can see on this side 2 versus 1 majority, so we can have this pass pawn moving up the order. So next we move forward, capture the open file. Bishop b2 attacks, protect it. Rook f4, dubious, because here c5 should have been played, because the c pawn is needed on c5 as quick as possible. c3 takes, and now king d8, and now we will move on to the e6 pawn. bg7, rook g8. You cannot capture h6, it would be threatened, trapped. Now rook g6, attack e6, and now bd6. Next move, we will move our king up to e7 and capture the e6 pawn. That was the basic idea. That's why rook f4 is dubious. And now we come forward, c3 takes. You can see now it's not easy to attack e6. So king d8 trying to attack, rook f1 check, moves forward, and usual moves, rook e2 protecting the e6, king e7 now trying to get into that pawn, d4 overprotection, king takes e6, bishop f6, king takes. Now still white doesn't have drawing chances because of his pawn structure that is heavily disturbed. So d5 trying to get in some exchanges, takes. Now rook attacks that isolated pawn, check. You take one pawn, I take yours. Takes. And now let's go attack. Here king c4, dubious was played. King b3 would have been better, but that was not done. And another move was d6. That should have been played. d6, let's see the variation. King e5, now rook g6, and now we have rook d1, attack from behind, king b4, king f5, protect our pawn, rook moves, a6, king c4. As you can see, this structure is not allowing the black king to reach to the goal, to enter these squares. These squares are not entering, also the square is not working also. And okay, let's go back to our king c4 move, and let's see what happened after king c4. Super move, check, and now we have check again. We gain time by giving checks, and now rook is behind, king gets a check. Here best move would have been king into b5, try to get some pieces out of the game, but this was not done. What was played is king c5, trying to push the pawn. Anyway, both are losing, trying to get in more attackers. Here nothing is happening. Rook f8, super bad move. Rook b8, although the position is lost, there are still chances for a draw. At least it would be just like +2 for black. But after this move, rook f8, it becomes +5.8. It's like almost +6. So here comes king e4, attack the pawn, go back, and now the pawn is pushed forward. Queens. And it's a winning position because both of them will give the rooks. For example, here rook b8, white will give his rook for this pawn, and black will give his rook for d7 pawn. And ultimately what will happen, we still have this pawn on a7 that will win us the game. A great game by Abdusattarov as he destroyed Richard Rapport's sideline.